Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's crazy. January 2nd, 2020. Sounds so futuristic and like somehow here we are. Um, I'm so happy that this is kind of a mellow week with my kids out of school and they're having an arts and craft activity today. So I get to just check back into work quietly and really think about how I want this year to look. So I wanted to talk about this topic, and we actually talked about doing it at the end of the year. And then the way my schedule worked out, I pushed it to today because we ended up taking our kids to Palm Springs for a last minute trip and then to the snow so that we could go sledding. And it's really cute because it kind of ties into what I want to talk about today. My kids have 3 weeks off, and a lot of times when they have a break, they will kind of wake up the day that they have to go back to school or the night before they go, to bed, and they'll say, I feel like break just flew by and I didn't really do that much, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? We did all these things. So one of the things that we did with our kids this winter for this break is we had them create winter bucket lists. And of course, I didn't tell them that the word bucket list comes from kicking the bucket and things you want to do before you die. I just told them that bucket means all the stuff you want to do, you just put it in a bucket and then you start doing them and you take them out of the bucket. Okay. So we created winter bucket lists, and it's actually been super fun to check off the things that we're doing with our kids. Like they really wanted to see the snow, so they put that on their bucket list, and we ended up making it happen because we went to Palm Springs and figured that we could stop at Mount Baldy, which is along the way on the way back. So it was really interesting because even just working with my kids on how to maximize their winter break, because they feel like they go back to school and they haven't done it all, right? Writing it down and creating a list of things that you want to do is really impactful. It's just like a minor thing, but I want to incorporate that in a bigger way. And when I was wrapping up the year, I kind of had this feeling like, wow, we're at the end of a decade. And I know there's all this debate of like, no, the decade starts in, the zero, so that the end of the decade is the one. Whatever you want to be a hater on 2020 being a new decade, if you're writing a new, number in your like checks or whatever you're writing, like 2020, this is the 20s. We're in the 20s, right? Like last century, the 20s were the roaring 20s. So whether you want to call it a new decade next year or this year, whatever, let's, for the sake of not being annoying and being one of those haters, let's call this a new decade, right? And I realized that in the next decade, I'm going to be an empty nester. So my younger son is going to be 8 next month. And in 10 years, he'll be 18 and he'll be leaving the house. And my older son is going to be hopefully off in college or working or whatever he's going to do. So in 10 years from now, my husband and I are going to be empty nesters. And that opens up a lot of possibilities for us, right? Like travel, not that we put off travel until then, but it means longer trips and, more maybe exotic locations. But one of the big things that I started to think about is that, we've got this like decade, right? And 10 years ago, I was pregnant right now with my first son. And now a decade later, I have almost a 10-year-old. And I feel like it kind of flew by. And I almost feel like it kind of caught all of us a little off guard. At least it did for me. Let me know thumbs up or hearts if this resonates at all with you. But, I realized that in 10 years, we're going to be entering the next phase of our lives. And I don't want to be scared and I don't want to be panicked about it. I want to look at this as an opportunity to create our future. And one of the things that I want to do in 10 years when I have no children at home and don't really need to stay in this house to keep them in school is my husband and I want to retire in Santa Barbara. And I've told you all about that in the past. I love Santa Barbara. I went to college up there. It is like my absolute happy place in this world, but I'm not alone in that. And a lot of people want to live up there. and it's very, very expensive. So if I'm going to make this happen in a long-term plan, I have to focus on it because we have to figure out what it's going to take to live out our dream. But imagine if I just said this in kind of like a futuristic, like someday we'll get out there, someday. Well, then someday comes or never comes and you find yourself not prepared. You can't just stumble into a dream like that. You have to be intentional about it. And I realized in setting a goal like this, and I want you to really think about this for yourself, is that life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. It's not just an internet meme, an Instagram quote card. That's real. That is real. Life happens for you, and you are in charge of how you want your life to go and what you want that to look like, right? So this is a great opportunity to reset and say, look back on the past. And even if you didn't meet your goals, don't dwell on it. Goals are not, here's the way that I want you to think about goals. Goals are not there to be met. Goals are a target. Michelle, hi. I enjoyed your interview on the Pitching PR podcast. Enjoy following you. Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's so nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. I am showing up this year. I am taking action. I'm taking massive action, and I'm here for you. I am going to be present. I'm going to force myself to get on camera every week and teach something, create a ton of content that's going to help you. My goal is to help all of you have businesses that you love. And you can have a business you love by being intentional about what you want it to look like and what you want your life to look like. Your business and your life can serve each other. They don't have to be separate things that you work on independently. You can create a business that will serve an amazing life that you want. Like for me, my business is enabling me to, so many things, but this is going to enable my dream to live in Santa Barbara in 10 years. My business is going to serve as the vehicle to get me there. And when I live in Santa Barbara, I can still work in this business. I can still run my agency wherever, right? So, Michelle, I welcome you into this community and I look forward to getting to know you. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to think about this. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. And goals are targets. They are not meant to be achieved. They're meant to push you. It's a new way to look at it. I don't want you to look and say, God, I started the year and I had all these goals and targets and things that I wanted to do and I didn't meet them. And then to feel like you somehow missed the mark on it. I want you to celebrate where you ended up. If you didn't aim high and shoot for something big, maybe even something that was like so hairy, scary and seemed unattainable, Cassandra, I'm new too. I don't even remember how I got on your list. Well, I'm glad you're here. I love fresh faces, you guys. Thanks so much for joining. So we're going to set goals that push us, that aim to stretch and grow and push you towards something big, and then celebrate where you end up, not that you missed something. You didn't meet some goal. You didn't attain it. You pushed yourself and you grew in some way. And I want you to think about where you grew. What did you do outside of your comfort zone? Look back on the year and go through your calendar and seriously look through anything that you did last year where you pushed yourself, where you got out of your comfort zone, where you maybe had a bigger year than you've ever had. So what if you didn't meet your target? A goal is there to push you. So look at that and look back on the year, close up the year nice and tidy, and don't say, God, I didn't meet my goals. This was my year, and then it didn't happen. You say, look at everything that I did, even the small things. If you managed to get your kids to school on time in the morning, I'm sorry, that's a huge win, right? If you managed to take a conference call while you waited in the drop-off line to get your kids, huge win, right? We figure things out as parents, and even those little minor things in your business that you're able to accomplish. A lot of people can't do that. Celebrate that. Wrap up 2019. Don't look at it with any regret at all. Look at it like I did all of these things, and I'm going to take that and move forward, and I'm going to set goals again for 2020 that are going to push me and they're going to stretch me. And like I said, I wanted to put this out last Thursday, but we ended up going, or last Monday, by the end of the year, but we ended up going to the snow. So this was going to be like, do this by the end of the year. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that you haven't done this yet. Make time to focus on setting goals. So I want you to make an appointment in your calendar. You can do it right now. Open up your calendar, whether it's on your computer, your phone, or if you use a, handheld, whatever, like a date book. Find time and carve out time. Give yourself, if possible, a full day, or stretch it out over 2 days, or just give yourself a 2-hour solid chunk to work on your business goals, your 2020 and also your like 3, 5, 10-year goals. Just carve out time and be intentional. And oh, thanks for posting that link. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Leslie is incredible. She's the host of that podcast. She's an amazing graphic designer. If anybody ever needs graphic design, she hosts that podcast. And in Michelle and Cassandra and anyone else that's watching, in that episode, I share my framework for how to run a profitable agency. It is literally the entire framework that I use to run my business. It's 4 pillars. It's strategy, sales, service, and scale. And I break down what goes into every single pillar. So you have a framework for how you can run a profitable business on your terms. So that podcast is good to listen to. And I'm going to teach more about that next month. But I appreciate you posting that link. It's a really great place to kind of look at your business and see where you could improve, what you offer, what you do. I think that a goal for 2020 should also be to work on your business and set business goals and figure out how you're going to achieve those goals. If it's, bringing in new clients, adding a team member, a certain sales target, breaking into a new niche area that you want to serve, adding a new service, whatever you want to do, but focus on that as well in setting your 2020 goals. So you're adding an appointment to your calendar where you're going to spend at least half a day and focus on your goal setting. Focus on the things that you want to accomplish. You need to give yourself this time to really think about it, okay? And one of the things that may be creeping in that you don't even know is having an impact are limiting beliefs. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this lately, podcasts and, marketing gurus, people on the internet, but it really does have a major impact on how you see yourself as the owner and the founder of your business and the leader of your company and the ability to bring in new work. Are there limiting beliefs that you have that are potentially holding you back? Do you feel like, here's a limiting belief example. I work from home, so therefore big clients don't take me seriously because I don't have a fancy office space, okay? Can you see how that's a pretty common limiting belief and how that would potentially hold me back from working with big clients? Because I would worry that, well, they're going to not take me seriously because I work from home, and they're going to think, well, in order to be a successful or big agency that they can work with, we have to have an office space, okay? That is a ridiculous limiting belief. And let me tell you, we support billion dollar clients, publicly traded companies who have the funds to work with any agency they want to. We have $3 billion brands, one in each of our niches, which is beauty and cosmetics, health and wellness, and baby and kids. I have a $1 billion client in each of those niches. And I can promise you that working from home does not impact that. But imagine if you held that limiting belief. Imagine if I held it. I would never pursue that work. I would never go after those clients because I would think, well, why would they hire me? They're not going to take me seriously. Why even bother? But that's clearly not the case. So start to see where you have limiting beliefs that creep in that could be having an impact on your ability to go all in on your business. A lot of it, and let me just point this out, and I want you to pay attention if this is happening to you. A lot of it comes in around money. A lot of it comes in around money and manifests in your pricing. So most of the women that I work with in my agency accelerator they come in and they're pricing out of fear. Michelle says, holy cow, congrats on those $1 billion clients. Thanks. Yeah. My first $1 billion client, I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Like, that's awesome. I can't believe it. It kind of like occurred to me like, wow, I have a $1 billion client. And then my next one, I was like, oh my God, like I have $2 billion clients. And then when we got our third $1 billion brand, I was like, this isn't a fluke, right? This is awesome. I'm attracting that into my business because I'm seeking it out and I'm going into it with the belief that the value we provide is enough for a $1 billion brand and the retainer fee that goes along with working with $1 billion clients. Okay. So it's a mindset shift. It's saying like, I'm worth it. I'm good enough. And I don't care if I work from home. I'm still doing great work. Right. But I want you to think about potentially limiting beliefs around money that you may have that's coming into your billing and your retainer fees or the fees that you're asking for, that you feel like maybe you're charging too much or you're afraid that you're going to lose a client because your rate is too high. Those are your beliefs about money, your limited beliefs about money that you're imposing on your clients. And I want you to catch yourself doing this because that is one of the biggest beliefs that is holding you back. It's holding you back from your growth. Okay. So think about any beliefs that you have. Could be some of this like imposter syndrome of like, who am I to be running an agency, or why would they hire me? It's a lot of that creeps in because you've never really done something before. Every new thing you do in your business is new. And so you think to yourself, well, I've never done this, so why would they want to hire me? But you should realize you're stepping into your greatness. You're elevating your role and you're serving in a bigger way. So imposter syndrome is actually a good thing because it's showing you that you are stepping up and showing up in a bigger way in your business. So just notice it and realize that those things could be holding you back. Okay. I'm just looking because I kind of did my notes out of order. Visualize what you want your life to look like in the future and then work towards that. Okay. So I look at, the next 10 years, I have to like really build up savings so that we could buy a house or, end up living up in Santa Barbara. And the other thing that I realized too, like I do not want to get caught off guard by like how fast things fly by. I don't know if it's because I have so many years, behind me that it's like 1 year is just a very small fraction of, the life I've lived. Cause like when you're a kid, a year is like a tenth of your life when you're 10 years old. But, when you're in your 40s, it's like a year goes by pretty fast because you've lived a lot of years. And every year I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it's like Thanksgiving. I can't believe it, or Halloween. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving. I can't believe it's the holidays. Oh my God, it's the new year. Oh gosh, where did that year go? Right. I don't want to feel that way. So I realize that we have 10 summers left with my kids. We have limited weekends left with my kids. I want to optimize them. I want to have a business that I can build around the kind of life I want to have during this critical time with my children. And like I said, if you jumped on late, we did winter bucket lists with my kids. Super cute. I designed it in Canva. It took me literally 2 seconds. They stood over my shoulder. I'm like, what do you want to do? I want to bake with you 3 times. I want to make hot chocolate. I want to go to the snow. I want to see Christmas lights at the Grove. Whatever they wanted to do, we put it on a list. And now I know that they are going to feel like they got the most out of this winter break because they were in charge of how they wanted to spend their time. And now we are all as a family intentional about making those little things happen. We're creating memories. So, my older son is 10. We have 8 more summers with him before he goes off to college. And I want that to matter. I want the weekends to matter. I want to make the most of my time with my kids. And that means to me, creating this business that supports my, my ability to have flexible time, my ability to be a room mom in their class. You guys have heard me talk about that. A couple weeks ago before a break, I did lanyards in my son's school on a Monday for like 3 hours. I was there setting up, working with the teacher. You can't really do that in a job. It's not so easy to slip away and take that time off. And also when you're starting a business, you can be super intentional about the kind of business you want to have, setting boundaries, having it serve your life in a certain way. And that's the model that I created with my, with my PR agency, Generation PR, because that's the life that I wanted to have. This is my vision, my example of having it all. And so, you're going to see a big kind of shift this year towards a discussion about work-life integration, no longer work-life balance. Everybody debated that for a long time because there's no such thing as balance. Now it's integration. How do you have your life served by your work, and how does your work serve your life? So realizing I want to have more out of my, time with my family, time with my husband, time for, self-care is also another big topic, personal growth. I do a lot of professional development. I'm in a mastermind. We meet 3 times a year, all of that. Michelle is saying, yes, this is why I left my journalism career. I wanted to set my own schedule and not work on someone else's deadlines, i.e. the 6 p.m. news. Yes. So Michelle, what are you doing now? Tell me what you're doing now. It sounds like you're veering into PR, which you would listen to the Pitching PR podcast. So, and if you are looking to grow an agency, I'm your gal. I'm happy to support you in my, my programs where I give you an entire framework for how to do it. But that's why I do what I do, because it is so important to me to give you the models so you can have this roadmap too, so that Michelle and, Cassandra and everybody that's here has the ability to plug and play a process so that they can have, like I said, life happen for them and not to them. You can create a business where you have that flexibility and freedom to work on your own schedule, work with clients you love, set boundaries. For me, it means taking my kids to the snow this Monday, kind of on a whim, and doing a last minute trip to Palm Springs on a whim, and leaving with no guilt and no concern that clients are going to be upset. It's just like, you know what, we do great work, and this is how I'm going to be spending my time. So you can be intentional about this stuff. There are a ton of places to look online to get step by step. Yeah, Michelle transitioned over to PR and comms work, running my own small business, yet I hesitate to use the word small after. Yeah. Oh, bam. Yes, Michelle. Love it. Do not use the word small. You are, it doesn't matter. You could say boutique, all of that. But I love it. Do I have a YouTube channel? I do. Yeah, I do. I will add a link after the video, but you can just go on YouTube and you can Google Generation PR and you'll find my channel. And we take all of our content and we put it on YouTube. You guys can go there and see everything that we've talked about. I talk all about how to launch, grow, and scale a profitable PR agency. I want you guys to also save the date for we are going to be, this is my cat. For those of you who are new, this is Harley. Yeah. And he always, anytime I'm live, he always comes in my lap. And again, you can have an agency supporting billion-dollar brands with a cat in your lap. You can do that too. And a tail in your face and other things in your face. This cat is such a character. So yes, I have a YouTube channel, and we are going to be opening enrollment for my agency accelerator. When is it? We're going to start with we have a 3-part live training series about the PR path to profitability, where I teach you my entire framework for how to run a profitable agency. I show you everything that's in it. You can get a sneak peek in that podcast that's listed in the chat here. But that's coming at the end of February, and then early March, we are opening enrollment. We are only opening enrollment 2 times this year. That is it. We have the whole year mapped out 2 times. Okay. Yeah, YouTube channel is a great way to attract new customers. We see a lot of people. I can see watch times. People spend a lot of time and they binge watch content on my channel, which is really awesome. I'm so glad it's there as a resource for you. There's tons of great content there, but there's a lot of really good planning booklets that you can download with, things. I'll post a couple links here. So I'm not here to walk you through like all of the steps of like, here's how you set goals. I'm here to tell you, book time in your schedule to do it. Spend some time so that you treat it like an important part of your business that you are committed to. Put it in your calendar, block it. This is how you get things done, okay? You need to chunk out time in your calendar. And then once you set goals and you break them down into small, actionable steps, literally one step at a time, one foot in front of the other to achieve your goals, you just chip away at them. You add that to your calendar, you time block, and you treat it like a client so that you have time to work on your business and you're not so sucked into the tedium working in your business. Okay. So there are a ton of little like free planning tools for how to plan the best year ever. I really like this one, the year ahead, because what it does is you just download it off the internet and you look back on, what, like planning your year is a good habit, right? So you get into the habit of planning your year. You look back on the past year and do what I said at the top of the hour. What did you do? What did you accomplish? How did those things make you feel? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to celebrate? And you tie a bow on 2019 and you move on and you focus on 2020. And I want you to think about the next decade. Like, where do you want to be? What do you want to have? Because you can get a lot done in a decade, but I don't want it to surprise you and be like, oh my God, that happened so fast. And I wanted to be here, but I'm not. You can be here, but you have to figure out, like, it's like a roadmap. How are you going to get where you want to go if you don't even know where you're headed? You have to set those targets. So I will put a link to this one because I really like it. Spend some time. You can even do this with a partner. I want you and your partner to be bought into what your goals and your vision is. My husband and I talked about it and we're like, Santa Barbara, yep, we're doing that. Here's how we're going to do it. We are like putting money away in a fund. We pay money into that fund before, we do anything else, right? It's like we are intentional about it. And it helps so much to have my partner on board with that vision for our lives together. So, and it also becomes like an accountability buddy. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I just did this thing. And it's like, well, that takes us off track from our ultimate goal. So it's like, is it worth it? Was that worth it to do that thing that maybe delayed our ultimate goal? So get somebody on board with your vision for the next year in your business. If you don't have an accountability buddy, like as a family member, partner, significant other, find one in this group. There's some amazing people in this group that are all working towards the same thing. And it's actually why I created the Agency Accelerator program, because when I started my business, and you guys, in 2 months, it's my 15th anniversary of my agency, Generation PR. 15 years ago, I started my business. There was nothing and nobody to support me. Nothing. There were no communities. There wasn't even Facebook or Instagram, but there was no coaching, community, mentorship, content, classes, courses, programs, nothing, no resources. It was literally figure it out as you go. And that's what I did. And I've put all of that together so you can shortcut the process. But 3 months, 3 months from now is my 15th anniversary of when I started my business. And that's when we're opening the Agency Accelerator. And I basically just put it all together for you to plug and play in your business so you don't have to, carve a path with a machete like I did and figure it out as you go and just, figure it out as you go. Like this is like, foolproof, no-brainer content. So, I want you to be intentional and realize, thank you so much, Cassandra. I appreciate that. She says, wow, congratulations. It's crazy. And it's been super fast. And the best part of all, and I want this for you, is 15 years into my business, I still absolutely love what I do. I wake up every day and I'm like, how am I so lucky to be here doing this? And I had the context against, to compare with my job as an attorney, as a litigator, and seeing what my life would have looked like if I stayed on that path versus where I am now. I am so incredibly grateful. And it's one of the reasons why I share my entire framework, because I want everyone to have a business that in 15 years they will still wake up every day and love the life that they've created. Okay, so realize this: life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Ah, Cassandra, reformed attorney. Yep. And now you are forging a new path that's going to be way more fulfilling and way more, you'll feel more passionate about the work you do. So yeah, that's why I teach what I teach. And I want you to really, realize life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And, make it happen. I'm trying to think about any other things. I want this to keep you fueled. I can't talk. Fueled and excited. This is like a really fun, awesome time, but I don't want it to make you feel like frazzled and crazy. Just be like, yeah, like I got this. And even if things kind of veer off course, just reposition and get yourself back to it. But you can't get where you want to go if you don't think about where you want to be and what it's going to take to get there. Right? I want you to be intentional and create a business and a life that you love. So you'll be seeing me every single week. I'm showing up for you. I also have a LinkedIn group. I can post a link to that here. I'll post a link to my 2020 planning guide that I use. It's not my own guide, but it's one that I've been using that I really like. And set some time, block it out in your calendar, and life happens for you. Make it happen, guys. Okay. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for being here. I look forward to getting to know you all more in this community. Bye.